Okoa Kenya Secretariat first in a direct replica and script, the way the 2013 elections final presidential results were posted to media houses late in the night after the same IEBC directed prying Kenyans and global eyes to go to bed and await the final tally the next day at 10 a.m. The goal then was to sneak in the 50% plus one so as to circumvent a spontaneous uproar. The goal now to kill the Okoa Kenya initiative with a premeditated narrative that Okoa Kenya has failed to raise the requisite numbers, which is a lie and a farce. Remember, fellow Kenyans, that IEBC, in a matter as important as this, should have called the Okoa Kenya initiative promoters to meet them and tell us the process at which they arrived at the verdict. They never did that. Seventh, the IEBC, just as in 2013 in working at the behest of the Jubilee government, through informally engaged select intelligence officers that are the chief strategists and consultants of the IEBC. No wonder IEBC appears unable to explain its own verdict and process, as was evident by Commissioner Letangule's bewilderment and inability to explain its own voter register when asked on the Citizen Live News show to explain which register was used to arrive at the number of Okoa Kenya's signatures declared to be in the register of voters. Kenyans must remember that during the 2013 presidential elections in the Supreme Court hearing, the IEBC insisted that there was no single register, and the Supreme Court, against the petitioner's assertion, agreed with them that there were many registers, including the famous Green Book. It will not be surprising when, after a brief from their chief strategists and consultant commissioners, Commissioner Letangule and IEBC will have an eloquent answer for Kenyans after being scripted. The conspiracy, the script, the players are all the same. Only the year and the event has changed. All else remain the same, and that is the same way they intend it to be in 2017. You, the sovereign, you, the people, must stand up and say no and reclaim your country. The IEBC's commission and omission has, throughout the debate on the referendum, signaled that they had been scripted and mollified by the Jubilee government not to prepare for the referendum. In other words, the referendum, according to the script drawn by Jubilee and its select intelligence wing, was that no referendum was going to take place. And therefore, there was no need for any preparatory process for the said referendum to be put in place. Here is the evidence. To date, even as the referendum loomed large for more than 1.5 years, the IEBC connived with the Jubilee benefactors to ensure that there is no referendum act in the country, no referendum rules and regulations, lack of harmonized voter register, for example, which register was used to determine the validity of Okoa Kenya data set, IEBC, Green Book, among others, which one as per the Supreme Court presidential petition ruling of 2013. You remember the petition asked which is the voter register that was used to determine the process and outcome of the last general elections. Lack of due process and lack on how to verify the signatures. No wonder a shortcut of a shortfall of 1 million signatures had to be crafted to circumvent the verification of signatures. Fourth, just as in 2013, when the so-called tyranny of numbers was predicted to prepare the public psychologically by a Jubilee-sponsored pundit and IEBC affirmed it, this time round, top Jubilee officials likewise predicted the flop of Okoa Kenya initiative to prepare the public psychologically, and the IEBC affirmed it. Fifth, Jubilee's belated criticism of IEBC of late, right from the lead up to Malindi by-election, is a public ploy to try and hoodwink the people of Kenya that it too has a problem with IEBC, even as it packs IEBC with select state intelligence operatives disguised as temporary employees to cook non-corresponding soft copies of Okoa Kenya's hard copy data in cahoots with IEBC. Please note that IEBC did not advertise for the recruitment of verification clerks as they did for the registration clerks as it's required by the law. Kenyans, your guess is as good as ours on who did the purported verification. Sixth, Okoa Kenya was IEBC's client in the referendum push. Despite several reminders and requests for meeting, the last one which they deliberately dodged, the so-called verdict of IEBC was issued to the press late in the evening and not to. We, the leadership of Okoa Kenya, are now left with no option but to return back to the very cadre that gives power to all other state organs in Kenya, and that is the people of Kenya. Come back to you, because as a people you can delegate as well as take back and exercise those powers directly under the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Article 1(2). If delegatees such as the Jubilee government and its Siamese twin, the IEBC, abuse that delegated power as they have repeatedly done since 2013, the grounds upon which we, your servants, under the umbrella of Okoa Kenya, come back to you, the people, include the following. First, the statistics released by IEBC are not reflective of what Okoa Kenya presented to IEBC in hard copies in November 2015. Second, the IEBC was the last port of call after all the Jubilee efforts to frustrate the referendum failed. This include, among others, claims that the excise was too expensive, demand to have the referendum at the same time as 2017 elections, several parallel initiatives by Jubilee including Punda Amechoka and Boresha Maisha, quest for the National Assembly Speaker for the merger of all referendum initiatives, stonewalling by IEBC through claims such as lack of funds and unfounded claims of lack of a constitutional time limit to verify the signatures. The IEBC to this end is being used to disenfranchise you, the people of Kenya, to determine your destiny, just as it was used to make your vote not count in 2013.
You are my senior in this formation.
Good afternoon. Tuko tayari?
Kabisa.
Kama tuko tayari, as we say in code. Welcome to this event this afternoon, where we as Okoa Kenya team have a press statement to make, which I'll proceed to read. We demand our country back. We, the people, are sovereign. Ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday, March 22nd, 2016, the sovereign people of Kenya were treated to another charade from a Jubilee government-funded IEBC. After stonewalling for close to 5 months, the much maligned IEBC that is tied to the hip to the Jubilee government, true to character, responded in conformity to the prediction of the Jubilee leadership that the Okoa Kenya ship cannot set sail barely after a day of prodding by Jubilee sidekicks. This is in spite of Okoa Kenya's prodding for the last 3 months as the originator of the signatures. Since it is the people who are sovereign and all other state and public organs only exercise delegated power under Article 1(1)(4) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010,